Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well. I'm doing flipping amazing. That was brilliant, wasn't it? Chelsea 2, Burnley 0. We get 3 points with a very dominant performance, complete control of the game from minute 1 until minute 90. And the performance, you could say, went up a level compared to the Wolves game. It looks like the blueprint is starting to form. And it looks like the players are starting to click with what Tuchel is asking and demanding. And it looks like Tuchel's message has gotten across very, very quickly. Because some of the reactions that we've seen from these players, including a couple of names there where we look at and we think, how are they playing so well now? I don't get it. But we're going to get into all of the details. Before I do though, I'm going to ask you guys, if you are new, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Let's get into today's nitty gritty. So 2-0 winners on the day, fantastic display as I've said, and a couple of shocks. Let's have it right. Let's start off with the lineup and how we went, because we knew in the build up from the Wolves game up until now, we played against Wolves in a back three. We knew we went with a three at the back formation, and the same was most likely to happen against Burnley. Why? Because Burnley sit back, they play deep, and I knew that there would be a sense of Burnley taking a little bit more risk. Why? Because it's paid off for them. Against Liverpool, they got a win, and they done it very well, very effectively. Against Aston Villa, they put 3 past Villa by playing in a similar fashion. I think against us, they were always going to sit back, but also press high when they have to in order to try and not get us to get into their half, but also on the counter-attack, much like Wolves did, but not enough. I feel like with Wolves, they were just probably not brave enough, or they just felt like they didn't have what it takes to try and take the game to us and leave themselves exposed at the back. But with the lineup, this was very interesting. As I said, 3 at the back, this is what Tuchel went with. So we went Edouard Mendy in goal, a back 3 once again, just like the Wolves game of Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva and Antonio Rudiger. We went with wing-backs, right wing-back of Hudson-Odoi, just like the last game, and the return of Marcos Alonso. Yes, at left wing-back, he made his comeback. Jorginho and Kovacic, the same two in the pivot, just like against Wolves. We went with Mason Mount just ahead of him in a 3-4-1-2 formation, with the 2 up top being Timo Werner and Tammy Abraham. This was a very, very controlling and dominant performance from minute 1. Let's have it right. As I've said, we were having to play against a Burnley team that started off the game very deep, just trying to contain, closing up those spaces, making life very, very hard for us. That was the way of Burnley, and as predicted, we knew that was going to happen. But some of the times that we were looking very threatening, we created chances, we managed to exploit and find those ways through. We managed to get some shots on the edge of the box. If you're looking at Mason Mount, for example, where he had, I think, 3 shots that went into row Z. If he had just not leaned back so far, he might have got those on target. We had the chance where Hudson-Odoi came into the box, who drove it low for Timo Werner, and Timo Werner, I don't know what happened, but it hit one leg, hit the other, then went the other way. I don't know, but he's got to really be doing better there. Those chances came, and it was promising because Burnley were trying to suffocate us, close all the gaps, and not really allow us to get through. But we did find those elements in our game to cause a threat, to get players in those half spaces, sometimes even quarter spaces. It was very, very tight, but there were chances that we did create for ourselves, which was a good sign and a good thing. But we did know that it got to a point we needed a goal. We needed a goal to open up the game, because if not, Burnley were more than happy to just sit back, stay there and not move, right? They were more than happy to do that and to try and wait for us to make one mistake so they can hit us on a counter-attack, which in the end they didn't really get to do, which was promising again, and it shows how solid we are looking now. But we got the goal. We got the goal, and it came from a man I think no one expected it to come from. But a funny stat now, Mr. Cesar Azpilicueta, fantastic goal it was, but he has scored under every single manager that has managed him at Chelsea. So you can take that stat with you and run with it if you want. But Cesar Azpilicueta getting into the box in the manner that he did, there was great movement from Mason Mount, Callum Hudson-Odoi that combined really well. Callum Hudson-Odoi driving into the box, saw Azpi on the overlap, fed it to him, Azpi hit it straight into the net, 1-0 Chelsea before half-time, and that set a great predicament for what was to come, because at that point, going into half-time, we knew Burnley were going to come out for the second half and just not take the game completely to us, but they were going to open up a little bit more, which meant that we had more opportunity for us to hit them on a counter-attack now, just like we scored that goal, because that goal for Azpilicueta came from a counter-attack, and that's a very key observation, because we shouldn't be a one-dimensional team. We shouldn't be a team that plays only one way. Only, passing amongst one certain space, or trying to be the attacking team that just goes all out attack every single time, or, you know, sits back and does nothing but tries to get on the counter and plays only that way. No, we don't have to just focus on one way. We can be a multi-dimensional team where we can suit ourselves and adapt to the situations that we are in, which is what Thomas Tuchel is all about, which was very, very good to see how we scored that first goal, because it came from a counter-attack against a Burnley team whilst it was still 0-0 that left themselves open once. And we exploited it. Got that counter going. Hudson-Odoi and Mount with fantastic energy and pressing going forward. They ran with it. Azpi on the overlap. We had space. They were caught out. We scored 1-0. Boom. But going into the second half, we knew that Burnley were going to open up a bit, which was going to suit us. It was going to suit us, and it was going to suit a Timo Werner, for example, where he likes to run in behind defenders. And we did see him try to do that a couple of times, but we didn't get the ball enough to him. Now, going into the second half, we had Tammy Abraham come off at half-time. We had Pulisic come on, which was a key substitution, because at that point, you're switching up the formation at the top end of the pitch. We were going to a 3-4-1-2. We then changed to a 3-4-2-1. Pulisic coming on alongside Mason Mount and Timo Werner being the sole striker, which worked as well, because when you look at how we scored the second goal, Mr. Pulisic feeding the one and only Mr. Marcos Alonso. The remontada is complete. I mean, who on earth would have thought that Marcos Alonso would be in a Chelsea shirt one more time and was going to score on his first day back? No one would have thought it, but there we are. 2021 in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. Marcos Alonso with a fantastic hit, a brilliant goal, but great movement. We had Marcos Alonso on the ball, fed it to Pulisic. He made the run into the box. Pulisic saw the space in between the two Burnley players that were in front of him. He fed it to Alonso. Great control with his chest. Fed himself and set himself up on the knee, and then hits it with his left foot. Smashes the bar, hits the net. 2-0, and at that point, the game is done. Game, set, and match. And you saw Marcos Alonso's cheeky celebration there, where he's holding the Chelsea badge. I think there's more that meets the eye with that celebration, because you know, he looked dead and out. He looked finished. He looked like he wasn't going to play for Chelsea ever again. Since that incident with Frank Lampard, in terms of watching the second half against West Brom, I believe it was, from the bus, we thought that's it. Marcos Alonso is done. He's going to be leaving the club. And here we are. Thomas Tuchel rocks up, gives him a game, first day back, he's on the score sheet. It's unbelievable. But it goes to show you, under different managers, you will see different performances. Don't take the same individual and compare that with what he will do under a different gaffer. Under a different manager, it's a different set of circumstances. It's a different set of instructions. It's a different style of play. It's just a different environment to what you was in before. So your performance might either go times 100, it might go, you know, completely through the roof, or it might collapse. You never know. But Marcos Alonso so far today showed that he looked comfortable, he looked relaxed, and he done well. Obviously, he wasn't that involved because we were focusing a lot on the right-hand side, and Callum Hudson-Odoi on that right-hand side, who done absolutely incredible. So focus was there, but the times that Alonso was involved, it was fantastic. Now, let's get into some key performances, because we got to mention some names. Callum Hudson-Odoi, man of the match, without question. And it's a tough one to give, because there were other players that are deserving of that title as well. But Callum Hudson-Odoi, for a second game in a row as a right wing-back, done absolutely brilliant. So fair play to Callum Hudson-Odoi, was taking those risks, was playing so direct, was combining with Mason Mount very, very well. The chemistry there was phenomenal. We saw him just not make much of an error, getting back to defend, was always getting stuck in, he always won the ball back. Everything was class from Callum Hudson-Odoi, and he looked comfortable, he looked relaxed, he looked like he was in his element. He didn't look like he was panicking or rushing. He was taking the game by a stride, and it worked very, very well for him. So congratulations to Callum Hudson-Odoi. Same goes for Mason Mount. Mason Mount today was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. You see some of the spaces he was getting into. He was everywhere. The man didn't stop. And he was combining. He was winning the ball back constantly. Always winning the ball back and getting himself stuck in, as well as picking out those key passes, putting those through balls in. You see some of the layoffs he left for Callum Hudson-Odoi, because he knew that Callum was making those run in behind. It was fluent. It was fluent. The whole thing had fluidity to it. And it was just great to see. And Kovacic, same goes for him. Kovacic did not stop running today. He was everywhere as well. But he was brilliant. The way he was trying to drive through the middle constantly. He was trying to get involved. He was really getting stuck in, winning the ball back as well, retaining possession. The same goes for Jorginho, who was looking a lot more forward this time. The one thing with Jorginho again in the Wolves game was he started off very well and then he went sideways all the time. You know, with this game, he went a lot less sideways and a bit more forward, which was what we wanted. So that was very good from Jorginho as well. Everyone today just looked really, really good. The centre-backs, you have to give praise to them. Thiago Silva, what an absolute beast. What a tank in every sense of the word. Rudiger had a very good game, but so did Azpilicueta. Rudiger looks like he is making a comeback too, and he looks comfortable under Thomas Tuchel. You have to just praise pretty much everyone that played. You know, we saw a cameo from Kai Havertz later on for 10 minutes. We saw Reece James come on for about 15-20 minutes, and he done very well as well. Callum Hudson-Odoi came off, and he deserves a bit of rest. But when Reece James came on, full of energy, was getting stuck in, was crossing, was getting forward, was getting back in time, the whole lot. The fundamentals were there. All the fundamentals today, all the basics, all the things that you need as a foundation were present. And on top of that, it looks like Thomas Tuchel's foot stamp on the game is starting to show, and the blueprint is starting to emerge. So let's see what happens in the next few games going forward, but right now the signs are very, very promising. We've got Tottenham next. That's going to be a very interesting game, and a good one, I hope, if they do fall this weekend. Fingers crossed they fall, because their performance against Liverpool, defensively, they were a shambles, an absolute shambles. So hopefully, you know, we know it's going to be a similar circumstance to how Burnley set up, where we know Tottenham are quite reserved. Mourinho is going to keep them a little bit deeper, but we know he likes to get his teams to play on the counter-attack. So similarly to how Burnley set up today, the level I think is going to go up a bit because it's Tottenham, let's be honest, but Harry Kane is out, it seems. So, you know, we'll get into the details when I give you the preview to that game, but right now we have set ourselves up with fantastic amounts of confidence, with a desire, with everyone clicking, everyone smiling, the positivity. Tuchel has got a reaction from these players. It seems like the players understand what he's asking. Let's run with it. Let's run with it and see what happens, because when we get to Atletico and the Man United game and Liverpool and all of those, I honestly think with the trajectory we seem to be going in now, with the reaction we've just got from these players, hopefully it works out, and hopefully we get ourselves to a standard where we are able to compete with those big teams and win. Fingers crossed we can do it in that short amount of time, hopefully, but today's performance was a key indicator and a very positive one, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm very excited. So there we are. Let me know what you think in the comment section below about today's performance, about Thomas Tuchel, about his tactics and the way that he set us up today, the players, the key performances that I've mentioned, anyone that I've missed out, let me know. If you are new, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Thank you so much to those that tuned into the watch along. That was a very good watch along, a very exciting one, a very buzzing one. There were goals, we scored, MARCOS, Alonso, remontada, all of it. It was a very good watch along, so if you haven't caught it already, make sure you catch the card here. You can go back and see it for yourself. But those of you that contributed and watched along, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I'll see all of you tomorrow for a brand new video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one. Look after yourselves. Take care and peace.